Welcome to the Venture Showcase, the culminating event of the UCLA Social Enterprise Academy. I am Shalom Staub, Director of UCLA's Center for Community Engagement. The UCLA Social Enterprise Academy is an annual academic offering at UCLA through the Department of Economics in collaboration with the Academies for Social Entrepreneurship and Alumni Affairs, led by Professor Andy Atkinson and Archie Holton. Over winter and spring quarters, teams of undergraduate students work with staff from 10 nonprofit organizations to develop a plan for a social enterprise, a revenue-generating undertaking that will advance the nonprofit's core mission. They brainstorm ideas, undertake market research, project budgets, and develop business plans. And through all of this, learn what it takes to craft a compelling vision for a social enterprise that will attract investors and consumers. Since the creation of the UCLA Social Enterprise Academy over a decade ago, well over 100 nonprofit organizations have participated, and many of them have successfully launched and continue to sustain the social enterprises developed through this process. I've had the pleasure of working closely with Andy and Archie, along with students and nonprofit partners, and I know how transformative an experience this is for everyone involved. I want to congratulate this year's Social Enterprise Academy's student and community participants and wish the finalists good luck for today's presentations. And to the judges, thank you for contributing your time to today's event. Good luck to everyone pitching your team's ideas today. And now I'll pass the mic to Associate Vice Chancellor for Alumni Affairs, Julie Sina.
Thank you so much, Shalom. And I just want to quickly add my welcome to Shalom's and congratulations to our participants, and also a shout out to all of our alumni who have been a part of the process and are here today. And to our students, one of the things I say to you is this is simply what alumni do. There are now over 600,000 alumni in what we're now calling Bruin Nation around the universe that, just like today and just throughout this program, are here to mentor, to will-mentor, to lift you up, to hire you, and just to be there for you at any place you are in your life. And to our students, we hope that just like our alumni are doing today and throughout this program, that one day we'll see you doing exactly what our alumni are doing here, showing up today to participate in this really incredible program that we're so proud to be a partner of. And speaking of partners we're so proud to be associated with, tossing it over to you, Professor Atkinson, really appreciate our ongoing partnership and collaboration with our UCLA alumni.
Julie, thank you very much for that warm welcome. I'm a professor in the economics department, and I've been teaching the UCLA Social Enterprise Academy now for I guess 12 years. Before we start, I want to express my thanks. This is really an enterprise that requires a lot of people and a lot of support. I want to give special thanks to the alumni and community members that have come into the classroom and spoken this winter and spring quarters to help teach us about social entrepreneurship. I want to thank, again, alumni and community members who've come in to judge our first round of competition that we held about 10 days ago. But most of all, I want to thank the staff of the 10 participating organizations. You all have given a tremendous amount of your time and your effort to participate in this academy. And I very much appreciate that. I think our students very much appreciate that as well. But most of all, for me, there's the privilege of seeing your passion and your commitment to the causes that you're advancing with your organizations. And I think a lot of that will come across tonight or this afternoon as our 3 finalists make their presentations and the other 7 teams give you, the audience, a fast pitch. I also want to give special thanks to the Nicholas Endowment for their steadfast support for quite a long time with our academy. That support has been essential to our progress and success. But now I'd also like to turn it over to kind of my special partner, Academies for Social Entrepreneurship, represented by Isabel Bart and Archie Holton. This community engagement of getting professors and students out of our little ivory tower and engaged in the community is something it's hard to do on our own. We really need community partners, and Academies for Social Entrepreneurship has been the key partner for this UCLA Social Enterprise Academy. So with that, Isabel, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. I am Isabel Bard, the Managing Director of Academies for Social Entrepreneurship. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Like Andy and our predecessors, I'm going to extend a lot of thank you to UCLA for being our partner, and to their staff for really supporting us in making this happen. Especially special kudos to Andy, leading this program as the professor. And of course, thank you to all the ASC staff supporting our teams and making this wonderful work happen. Thank you to the students and the nonprofit organizations participating. There is a lot of learning happening in this program, and also a lot of great, action items that would be really helping this nonprofit build social enterprises. Also, I want to thank the judges and the funders, as Andy said that as well, for being here and believing in the work we're doing. And I just want to extend my gratitude to everybody who believe in what we're doing and really supporting our efforts, especially that we have some exciting news to share and some new programs we're going to be carrying on. Currently, we have an Orange County-based nonprofit accelerator where it's a little bit the next step of what you're seeing today. And we're accelerating currently 6 nonprofits in a pilot program to not just build a strategic plan, but also helping them get the resources that they need. And I want to give a special thank you to the Samuel Lee Foundation for helping us do that work in Orange County at the moment. And I think, as Andy mentioned, and we just have the link in the chat, anybody here who wants to sign up for the 2024 UCLA program, the link is there. So you can apply today. If you're a nonprofit organization, you can be based anywhere. As you will hear today, we have participants from all over the United States and beyond. So feel free to submit an application if you think that you want to be part of this program, or even get in touch with us in getting support in how you can implement social enterprise in your nonprofit organization. So thank you again to everybody here today. And I'm going to turn it over to Archie Halton, who really manages this program day in and day out. And thank you, Archie, for all the hard work. So I'll turn it over to you to introduce the judges.
Well, and some. So I also want to acknowledge Shalom for being here. It has been awesome. I missed the accelerator with you, and I want to take an opportunity to acknowledge Andy. 13 years, and it has made a profound impact. And though I don't believe she's here, Betsy Dinsmore, who's our founder, and of course, Isabel. It is my honor to be part of the managing team of this program. And what you're going to see is definitely a labor of love from UCLA and the academies. I want to thank everybody who showed, all those nonprofits and the students. And I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce you to our judges, but I'm actually going to open the door for them to introduce themselves. And I'm going to start with Mr. Ed Hart.
Well, it's been my lifelong dream to always say I'd like to thank the Academy. So I'll start with that today. My name is Ed Hart. I'm Senior Vice President with First Bank. We are a 4th generation privately held family-owned business out of St. Louis, Missouri. I head up our California region. I'm in Newport Beach, California. I also host a podcast that's loosely based off of my last name, Hart, called From the Heart, where I interview people from all over the world who have interesting stories, which that's many of you, all of you here today as well. So all of you are potential guests on the podcast. I'd love to just ask people more about why they do what they do. And a special thank you to Isabel, my dear friend, who invited me to be here today. I sit on the board of 4 nonprofits, on the executive board for the University of San Francisco Family Business Program, and then 3 Orange County-based nonprofits, Team Kids, and the Institute for Community Impact, and then most recently, the Small Business Diversity Network. And this really ties closely into my work on the Small Business Diversity Network. We work a lot with nonprofits and entrepreneurs and really helping them get their start. And so I'm thrilled and excited to be here today, and having read up a little bit about the presentations that we're going to hear tonight, I'm very excited and already inspired. So I look forward to meeting each of you and hearing your stories. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Archie.
Victoria Torres.
Hi, my name is Victoria Torres. I'm with the Samueli Foundation. I'm the Director of Community Impact with a focus in Anaheim and food security. I've been with the foundation now 4 years. Prior to that, though, I was on the other side of philanthropy, doing program work and working with nonprofits at a management service organization, helping them with board development, financial literacy, thinking about social enterprises, and all of that stuff that nonprofits don't often have time for or can find funding for. They would reach out to myself at 10C, the organization I worked for, and that's really how I got my niche in nonprofit management. And then now working for the foundation, I do a lot of place-based making strategies, learning about the issues and needs in the community, hearing straight from the community and stakeholders like nonprofits, and then formulating grant programs through that, and then also doing more work on a Orange County level when it comes to food. So we do a lot at the foundation, but that is just my little role. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Excited to listen to the presentations.
Thank you, Victoria, for being here with us. Corey Matthews.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Corey Matthews. Really a pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon, and really looking forward to the presentations today. A little bit about me. I currently serve as the Vice President of Global Philanthropy for JP Morgan Chase, responsible for overseeing all of the philanthropic strategies here in Los Angeles. And so I work with a number of different partners across the region to effectuate strategies against affordable housing and the production and preservation of new housing to obviously address our very acute housing crisis. I also, you said what now, Archie?
No, sorry, someone stepped in behind me.
Okay,
Sorry.
no worries. And then also working to advance the foundation's goals and objectives around workforce development, our emerging green economy and sustainability initiatives, as well as the focus on financial health. We're a firm and a bank, so that's pretty ubiquitous across all of our strategies. And finally, work around small business and building the small business ecosystem. Prior to that, I had the pleasure, sort of similar to Ms. Torres, who talked before me, of working on the other side of philanthropy in nonprofit work. I was Chief Operating Officer of Community Coalition, and prior to that, served in a number of different leadership roles across a variety of different policy arenas, ranging from education to workforce and community development, as well as criminal justice reform. And so now I have the pleasure of sort of seeing how all of those strategies manifest through a variety of iterations, ranging from social enterprises to really prolific nonprofit and think tanks. So really excited to be here with you all and looking forward to the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Corey. And I apologize. Sometimes you don't see him coming in the back of your office.
Oh, I get it. You got to be vigilant. I understand.
Claudia Sangster.
Very good, Archie. Claudia Sangster. I started my career as a practicing lawyer in estate planning and probate in Houston, Texas. Went back to my alma mater, Pepperdine University, where I was their senior counsel for estate and gift planning, and then was lured away to a startup company called My CFO, which was a corporate multifamily office for some of the wealthiest families. We were purchased by a bank, and I ended my career at Northern Trust as their director of family education and governance. But along the way, I became even more passionate about philanthropy and how it works and how it can truly move the needle on social issues. I was a co-founding partner for Los Angeles chapter of Social Venture Partners, And that was the chapter that actually started the Social Innovation Fast Pitch in Los Angeles, which then was replicated across many of the other social venture partners around the country and the world. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this program through the Nicholas Endowment. I sit on the Board of Trustees and have really watched this particular program grow and thrive over time. And I'm delighted to see so many people here to watch the finals and to know that it is expanding as we speak throughout the world. So Archie and Andy and Isabel and everyone who's been a part of this, I really appreciate it because you're doing good work. Social enterprise is the way to create a revenue stream that is sustainable for nonprofits rather than relying on grants forever and ever. So thank you all for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Well, and we appreciate you too, Claudia. Arceli Almazan, I hope I did it right. No, we can't hear you. Unmute.
Okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. First off, thanks so much for having me. My name is Arceli Almazan. I work for Alvarez, Glassman and Colvin. It's a municipal law firm. We represent cities, elected officials, police departments, and fire departments. Prior to that, I worked for an employment defense firm in downtown LA, Bunker Hill. Prior to that position, I worked for a healthcare litigation firm where we represented hospitals. I've been very involved with the LA County Bar Association, the California State Bar, and the American Bar Foundation. I graduated from UCLA back in 2004 with a bachelor's. And after that, I pursued a couple of masters in New York City and London and pursued a law degree. I've been practicing law for the last, now it's been about 11 years. Time definitely flies. And after I relocated, lived overseas and in the East Coast, I really wanted to get involved with UCLA, my alma mater. So now I'm a board of directors with the UCLA Alumni Association. I'm currently the chair of the finance committee, and for 2 years I served as general counsel. So I'm very happy to be here. I look forward to the presentations, and once again, welcome everyone.
Thank you. And before I hand this back over, I also want to extend a thank you to Paul Van Berkham, who is a program leader with the Academy. He's been in all of our programs, and I don't think he's here today. And Rob Triplett, who is also a part of the Academy. He works as our assistant in scheduling. We don't want you to go unappreciated. Andy, I'm going to hand it back to you, and let's get this running.
Thank you, Archie, and thank you to our judges. We are going to have 3 presentations, 8 minutes long from each of our finalists, and then move into 7 fast pitch presentations from the other 7 teams. Our first finalist is Engineer Factory. So I will ask that team of presenters to tee up their slides. And then when they're ready, just start talking and I will do the timing. You have 8 minutes.
Hi, my name is Ansar Fatani and presenting with Audrey Thompson. And today we'll be talking about the Engineer Factory.
Hi, my name is Audrey Thompson, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Engineer Factory. And this handsome young man is my oldest son, Jalen, and he is my why for creating the Engineer Factory. I knew Jalen was destined to be an engineer since the time he was 6 and imprisoned his 2-year-old sister in a Connex contraption. He was fortunate that his middle school was one of very few in Inglewood and South LA region to offer a MESA program, and his teacher, Miss Janota, was a once-in-a-lifetime teacher who had high expectations for all of her predominantly African-American and Latinx students. They competed in several aerospace contests against teams in more affluent schools. He texted us, there's 3 of us, there's 4 of us. I knew that meant that there were 3 or 4 African-Americans or students of color out of hundreds in the competition. Despite that, they ended up being one of the winningest teams in Southern California. But I wanted to do something to promote STEM in frequently underrepresented communities. But my background is in nonprofits, not engineering. But Engineer Factory is me being mama bear and finding opportunities for Jalen, then sharing info and creating opportunities for other kids in the community. This desire turned into the Engineer Factory's mission to offer science, technology, engineering, and math activities earlier and consistently to K through 12 students in underserved communities, creating a culture of STEM. Since founded in 2016, the Engineer Factory has served more than 9,000 diverse, commonly low-income students in Inglewood, South LA, and surrounding neighborhoods.
Given their already extensive track record in the local community, we would like to propose the next chapter of EF's impact on South LA. We've identified this as a perfect opportunity to provide homeschoolers with hybrid enrichment classes in novel subjects like building computers, constructing and running underwater robots, and even getting your drone flight certification. Not only are these subjects rare to even find in wealthier school districts, but they also serve as perfect hands-on opportunities for disadvantaged students to be exposed and see themselves in advanced STEM careers. Importantly, we figured out how to provide such classes out of no out-of-pocket cost to the student or their family, instead utilizing government education stipends that homeschoolers already receive. Allow me to explain. The state sends funds to homeschool students that are registered with charter organizations. Students then select courses from their charter's approved vendors, and the state stipend covers the fees. So, at no direct burden to the families, we can provide effective and novel curriculum to the kids of South LA. Students are being stripped of the choice to pursue STEM education because their public schools are not giving them the opportunity to do so. Consequently, more families in the South LA region are opting for homeschooling to give their children a quality education. The homeschool market is growing. From spring 2020 to fall 2021, Black families choosing to homeschool rose from 3.3 to 16.1%. Parents are increasingly looking towards alternatives due to the current political climate, exposed gaps in education, and negative mental health impacts associated with traditional schooling, making homeschooling an increasingly large market. We were able to connect with the local homeschool contact in the South LA region who expressed how homeschoolers in the area are in desperate need of educational opportunities in STEM. And we plan on reaching out to this target demographic by contacting homeschool parents directly from our EF programs, registering as a vendor in community groups, and direct canvassing. Based on our business model, the Engineer Factory plans to offer its services on course-by-course basis as 7-week programs sourced from state homeschool education stipends. Our strategy is to partner with local homeschool charters and offer courses that cater to the STEM education needs of students. Let me show you how we're going to do this venture. First, we will start our 3 pilot courses where families will use charter funding to pay for the classes. After proof of concept, we can then expand our programming to 6 courses per classroom per term. Fortunately for us, all of these programs are easily replicable, regardless of location. While EF is based in Los Angeles, the only true barrier from expanding to other underserved areas is establishing that initial network.
The competitors in this market fit in one of 2 categories. Our indirect competitors can't offer the exposure to engineering as a career that our niche programs can. Most of our direct competitors lack key points of homeschool course flexibility. But at its core, our competitors are not in our community. They're not in South LA, often more than 40 and 50 minutes away. We are the only provider based in our target market. Some of our other advantages include our South LA physical space, we call it our STEM gym, access to career applicable curriculums, and partnerships with neighboring nonprofits such as South LA Robotics. Children's education should be fun, applicable, and social. And only we can provide that. Only we have done that.
Since we grow on a course-by-course basis, we expect to see significant staggered revenue growth. Additionally, our operating expenses are growing at a much lower rate, disproportionately to our revenue for increased profitability in later years. Significant costs pertain primarily to our rent and staffing. And due to conservative estimates and the omission of grant funding, which is up to 50% of our competitors' revenues, you may note our narrow net margins, which is something we have to address in the QA segment. We aim to break even in our second year of operations and cover all of our cumulative operating losses by year 3. We've listed some of the major assumptions on the right, with the most important being the growth timeline of offerings.
The Engineer Factory is a family affair where we have dedicated our lives to improving and empowering our community. Our teams bring decades of compassionate, culturally relevant capacity to programs. I earned my master's and bachelor's from UCLA and have 30 years of nonprofit leadership experience, having successfully raised more than $60 million in funds for various nonprofits. Ariana currently directs our school-based programs that serve 2,500 students annually. And Jalen is a Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute graduate and an electrical engineer with extensive experience in vetting engineering curriculum. We also benefit from seasonal staff members and dozens of volunteers.
But we can't do it alone. Following base financial projections, we need an estimated $28,000 in initial capital to pilot our program in the first 6 months, mostly spent on qualified instructors, classroom space, and administrative costs. With your support, you can help Engineer Factory give the kids of South LA the chance to dream.
We call our high school students our cogs because they keep everything moving. They move on to college and then they become our legacies. EF's goal is to expose, engage, educate, excite, and empower our students to thrive in STEM education pursuits. We are excited to bring these opportunities to a growing homeschool community. Thank you in advance for investing in the Engineer Factory and in our kids.
Thank you. Archie, I'll turn it over to you to get a reaction from some judges.
Thank you very much. And it's really funny, we didn't do a separate, so I want to open it up to my judges. There we go. So if you're a judge, just Claudia, do you have something?
I do, and I just want to have a couple of questions, but first of all, I wanted to thank you for a wonderful presentation. And Mama Bear, I can see why you are in this space doing what you're doing. I just had a couple of questions. I think you said at the beginning that you had 9,000 who had been served so far. And I'm not quite sure if this is a new program, how you've served 9,000, if you could help me understand that. You don't have to answer, but that's one of the questions that I would have. We normally don't have you answer the questions. We just raise them so that when you pitch it later on, you have the ability to know that this might come up. The other thing was, I wasn't quite sure how many charter schools you already have targeted for the classroom space, since that seems to be one of the areas. You mentioned the STEM gym. I wasn't sure if that was for classroom space or if that was for materials that you need in order to conduct the courses. Those are the kinds of questions that I would have if I was investing as sitting there for a pitch. So again, you don't have to answer it. I'm afraid we don't have time to do that. But excellent presentation, both Ansar and Mama Bear. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ed?
Yeah, first of all, the first thing I always look for in any leader of an organization is passion, and you have that overflowing. So thank you for your passion, and especially for your passion for kids. The question I have, and again, not for an answer, but just I would love to hear the answer or read about this later, is we homeschooled our kids for 9 years. But that was 20 years ago plus. They're all now in their 30s and have kids of their own now. The question I have is, how do you find the homeschoolers and how do they find you? That's my bottom line question right there.
And I'm going to inject here. Andy, we didn't create this, but I'm going to tell the Engineer Factory that if you'd like to make a response, you can email them to me and I'll make them available to the judges when we go into, okay, archielholton@gmail.com, and you should have it. I'm going to go to
just well done. Both of you did a great job. Thank you for that.
Yes, great. Corey, I believe you were next.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate, I had no idea. I mean, I had an inkling that there would be a market for this, but I am curious, sort of to Ed's question around how we would find more people interested in useful, they will feel that this is useful. I'm wondering if there might be a need to include for future presentations just the outreach plan, like if there are community partnerships, if there are faith-based institutions that you all are engaging with, just ways that the word of mouth can be very salient for the community. I think that would be something to focus on. And then also, because I know that with STEM and engineering, just in general, there's a big component around employer sort of informed focus points for curriculum, for experiential learning. So the community part is one thing, but then also the employer part would just be an additional piece that I would like to see included. But I thought it was a fantastic presentation and a wonderful concept.
Excellent, thank you. And Sally.
Yes, well, first off, great presentation. I love the focus of your proposed project. And yeah, as mentioned previously, two things. Even after you get the word out and find these students, how are those students selected, right? And how do you project that? Like, how do you anticipate that changing over the course of the next, 3 years or so? And secondly, as far as the $28,000 to cover like the 6 months of operation or the next year or two, how is that figure broken down? I know you generally say it's for teachers, classrooms, and administrations, but how is that broken down? So I think I would like more specificity as to that, but great job, and yeah, love it.
Okay, great, thank you. Nonprofit Engineer Factory, if you'd like to respond to those, please write them up and send them to me. And to the judges, I'd like for you to take a few moments, go to your sheets and begin scoring while we set up the next presentation.
So Civil Air Patrol, queue up, and then I'll wait for Archie to give the go-ahead. But once Archie gives that, the judges are finished scoring. When you start talking, I'll start the timing. Our second presentation is from the Civil Air Patrol. Please go ahead.
Okay, you ready?
Good afternoon. My name is Mika Saraf, and today I introduce you to an initiative that holds the power to reshape disaster prevention as we know it. Welcome to CAP Prepare, the next generation of disaster prevention. Can we protect this and prevent this? CAP Prepare will help rescue the American dream. Since the catastrophic Hurricane Katrina in 2005, which claimed the lives of approximately 1,400 people, and the devastating 2018 California campfires, which resulted in 85 fatalities, our cities have become increasingly vulnerable to disasters caused by climate change. No one wants it to happen, yet it happens. Let's take a moment to reflect on the recent flooding in rural Kentucky, where approximately 1,400 structures were impacted just last year. This serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for strategic plans to better prepare ourselves for disasters. But what if CAP Prepare could help us take proactive measures to protect ourselves? Fortunately, there is a team ready to assist us. Major Scott Kaplan will now tell us about who the Civil Air Patrol is, their geospatial program, and present the CAP Prepare initiative.
Good afternoon. My name is Major Scott Kaplan, and I'm the National Manager for the CAP Geospatial Program. As a total force partner and auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force, Civil Air Patrol is there to search for and find the lost, provide comfort in times of disaster, and work to keep the homeland safe. Our volunteers are serving America's communities, saving lives, and shaping futures. During its 82 years of existence, leveraging the largest fleet of general aviation aircraft and small unmanned aerial systems in the country, a nationwide communication system, and 63,000 volunteer members, including cadets 12 to 18 years old, CAP has helped with search and rescue, disaster response, and countless other missions for our country. The 4-year-old CAP Geospatial program is revolutionizing CAP by making it the largest volunteer aerospace and geospatial emergency management organization in the world. Using our cadets and senior members trained in geospatial technologies, we've supported 18 major disasters since the beginning of the program. We provide end-to-end geographically and spatially focused information insights, services, and solutions, enhancing situational awareness across all missions. The numbers you see here are real-world numbers that CAP analyzed for FEMA using geospatial technologies. But what is GIS and geospatial information? It means to use GIS software and layers of data about a location to reveal deeper insights, such as patterns, relationships, and situations to help people make smarter decisions. But why is that important? The U.S. has sustained 348 weather and climate disasters since 1980, with an overall cost of damage that exceeds $2.5 trillion. Major cities have the resources to conduct assessments, but many small towns, municipalities, and even some states don't have these resources. You might think competitors like Google Earth or other imagery-based software would do this, but they are just another GIS tool that shows data. They don't provide the community an analysis of its vulnerabilities. CAP will collect this data and conduct the analysis for them. So what data do communities need? Lifelines are the most fundamental services in the community that enable all aspects of the society to function. Food, shelter, energy, and others must be protected or restored. The core of CAP Repair is to conduct research, collect data in the field, and create geospatial products and reports for the municipality. This will improve routes for evacuations, location for emergency supplies, or identify risks to a multitude of other resources that can protect the community's lifelines. The current slide provides a visual representation of a dynamic real-time analysis performed by CAP Repair. Let's take a look at the flood risk to fire stations. The legend illustrates different levels of flood risk ranging from low to high. Included is a layer showing all fire stations, which helps visualize which stations are vulnerable to flooding during a disaster. This analysis sheds light on a critical issue. If these fire stations were impacted by floods, they would be unable to effectively serve and protect the citizens in their vicinity. By identifying vulnerabilities, CAP Repair equips municipalities with crucial information about their lifelines and potential shortcomings in their disaster preparedness plans. This protects the American dream. Mahika will now discuss the financial aspects of this initiative.
Why would the municipalities be interested in our venture idea? Because in every episode of a municipality being struck by natural disasters, they want and need to protect their citizens. This is precisely where CAP Repair comes in. We have identified 50 municipalities that stand as prospective beneficiaries of our services. These municipalities not only face significant risks from natural disasters, but also possess the necessary financial resources to engage CAP Repair. We have already initiated contact with over 20 municipalities, and more than 50% have expressed a keen interest in partnering with us for this project. These include Anaheim, Fresno, and Santa Ana. As we delve into the promising market opportunities for CAP Repair, it is equally important to address the financial aspects and funding requirements necessary to transform this venture into a reality. During the initial 3 years of operation, CAP Repair anticipates attracting 3 users annually, with each user projected to generate $100,000 in revenue. Importantly, our operating expenses per project closely align with our projected revenue. To kickstart this venture, CAP Repair is currently seeking funding of $173,000. This funding is required because CAP's legal authorities cannot use federal dollars given to CAP to intervene at the community level. The allocated funds will be distributed across our main operating expenses, encompassing the development of a robust systems architecture, including applications, portals, external systems, and services. Additionally, a portion of the funding will be allocated to cover the labor costs of a dedicated GIS architect to architect the GIS enterprise, beyond the CAP volunteer support. The return on investment for CAP Repair is tremendous. According to research by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, every $1 invested in CAP Repair can save $15 in post-disaster recovery costs. To put this into perspective, a $150,000 investment in CAP Repair has the potential to save over $2.5 million. Now, let me introduce you to the exceptional team leading CAP Repair, all volunteers for CAP. Major Scott Kaplan serves as the senior advisor to the chairman of the Civil Applications Committee at the United States Geological Survey. Lieutenant Colonel Brian Coos is an Air Force major at the Air Command and Staff College at Maxwell Air Force Base. First Lieutenant Nick Howley is a certified geospatial information systems professional. Now I hand it back over to Major Scott Kaplan.
Thanks, Mahika. The bottom line is the CAP Repair initiative will literally help save lives. Due to preparedness, during Hurricane Ian last year, 149 lives were lost versus the 1,400 in Hurricane Katrina. By providing critical planning information, we are protecting our communities and making their lifelines stronger and reducing the chance of fatalities. What really makes me most excited is we are helping millions of Americans prepare for and then recover from disasters. This initiative truly helps protect the American dream. Thank you.
Thank you. Archie, we'll turn it over for judge feedback.
Okay. Judges, any comments you'd like to make?
Curious about competitive programs out there. Are there others out there similar to what you're doing? And if so, how do you compare it with those?
I had a couple of questions too. Nowhere in this did you actually define geospatial products. You mentioned it in your comments, but I never quite understood what's the product, and that would be important to know. I love the fact that you did say that there were 348 events since 1980, which caused over 2.5 trillion, I think, in damages, which is quite amazing. It'd be interesting to know how you targeted the 50 communities that you said you are targeting. And it was a nice piece of information, because I was trying to understand why you were not getting funding from the federal government, and maybe you should hit that a little harder, because it sounds like you can't, because it's to be utilized for municipalities. So I really appreciated it. Just a little bit more clarity on some of those issues I think would be helpful, but you did a marvelous job. So thank you.
You, Arceli?
No, I mean, this presentation was great. When I was going through the documents and reviewing the cost breakdown, the operating expenses, the financial projections, I thought, wow, this is amazing. You really scrutinized it very closely. The level of detail is kudos on that. I don't have any feedback. I mean, I was really impressed by this presentation. Great job.
Excellent. Corey?
Ditto to everything that was stated. For me, I understood sort of intuitively the geospatial component. I love the data aspect of this. It's very quantitative heavy, and the visualization is really strong. I got a really good sense as to how you all were thinking about how you analyze the problems, how you sort of project out what real sort of forecasted planning should look like, how do you put in sort of risk mitigation factors. The only thing that I'm sort of thinking a little bit about is scalability and who else would need to be involved as you talk about community lifeline planning. I see here from the staffing perspective that there's this component around volunteer engagement and managing of volunteers, but how do we get people excited about this? I imagine there's a little bit of a synergistic point that needs to be made between people's everyday lives and understanding how they participate in community, and then sort of the data way that we think about problems, both currently and also what we project to come down the pipeline, especially when thinking about just climate change in general and just the frequency of how much we're going to have to combat this. So a little bit more on how we would think about volunteer engagement, volunteer training, building capacity community to really own this for themselves. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And Ed?
Oh, I just got mine in early, just curious about the competition and what other municipalities maybe around the country are doing this, or others here in Southern California that we can look to as sort of benchmarks. And the whole financial or the municipal support as well. This the whole time you were talking, I was thinking that the government should really be on this and look at the lives that are being saved. And that, it saddens me in a way that we have to be doing this at such a small scale, when such large scale could really probably save thousands of lives. So thank you for the work you're doing, and just a great presentation. Nice job.
Understood. Thank you. Judges, please start marking your ballots, and to the nonprofit and the students, please, if you have any responses to the judges, please send them to my email box. Andy, I turn it back over to you to prep the next organization.
Excellent, thank you. So Sabine, you're already queuing up. If the speakers for Sabine turn their video on, then they'll come to the front. But we'll wait for Archie to give us the go-ahead when the judges have finished scoring, and then you can start, and I'll do the timing.
Hi, my name is Elia Cohen, and I'm here on behalf of Team 10 to present our drive-in theater venture proposal for the Sabine High School Revitalization Project. The Sabine High School Revitalization Project is a nonprofit that is dedicated to transforming an all-Black segregation-era high school that has been abandoned into a vibrant community center in the town of Manny, Louisiana. I'm going to hand it over to Sandra Garner Coleman, who attended the school when she was young.
As a first grader, I found Sabine School a place of comfort. I loved school and I felt love from all my teachers. That sense of love and comfort disappeared in August 1970 when I was told to report to Manny High School to complete my high school years. When I had to go from a Black school to a white school, my whole world crumbled. Sabine High School was stripped of its name, its colors, its mascot, and they even repainted our activity bus that was blue and white. They repainted it red and white. I felt it was an attempt to erase the past of our beloved school. The school I loved to the fiber of my being, it was left to go to ruins until a group of alumni formed a management group in 2018 to restore our school to become a community center, because that campus meant so much to us as African-American children. Our school served as the beacon to the Manny community. It's time for that beacon to be restored along with our legacy.
This was Sandra in first grade. Today, she is leading the charge along with other alumni of the school, including May Mallard Moore and Emmanuel Curry, working to transform this historic campus into a community center. This organization and our venture are also supported by the mayor of the town, Robert Habel. All members of this leadership team have business degrees and experience across diverse sectors. This venture is also supported by John Sibley, a board member of the nonprofit with a background in engineering that will help with the technical aspects of this venture. In order to make this vision of a community center a reality, we need a source of revenue, and that is where our venture comes in. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, drive-in theaters have had a resurgence across America. That is why today we are proposing building a drive-in theater on the grounds of the Sabine School that will feature new and classic movies, will be family-friendly, and have a nostalgic retro vibe. We will also offer concessions like fresh popcorn and classic movie snacks as an additional key source of revenue.
I am excited that the drive-in theater will generate funds to operate our community center. We recently received a construction grant from the National Park Service to begin our restoration project. The intangible benefit created by this venture to provide a safe environment for our children and their families for entertainment is priceless. Then upon completion of the community center, the same intangible benefit will be generated by organizing indoor activities. The venture will also create jobs as concession stand workers, managers, audiovisual positions that will promote the economic base for Sabine Parish. And finally, the venture will start the healing of a painful past that African-American students experience going from segregation to desegregation by developing the Sabine High School campus as a place of inclusion.
Now we're going to look at our market and do an analysis of our demographics. Manny at a glance is a small town with a population of 2,400. It's around 50% Black and 40% white, with a median income of $20,000 and a 29% poverty rate. We took all of these factors into account when brainstorming what venture would best fit the needs of this community. But we really wanted to get a clear sense of what the specific needs are of the people who live there. So we created a survey with different venture ideas, and we sent it to the mayor of the town. And he was generous enough to share this on his social media platforms. We were thrilled when over 10% of the population responded to this survey, showing overwhelming interest in our drive-in theater at 82%, and over 60% of respondents saying they would frequent this theater at least once a month.
We have good news regarding the competition for the drive-in theater. The closest drive-in theater is located 200 miles away in the state of Texas, and there are no drive-in theaters in the state of Louisiana. And the closest movie theater is located 80 miles away in the beautiful city of Shreveport, Louisiana.
This brings us to our financial projections. First, I'm going to walk us through some key assumptions that we made when calculating our revenue. Based on our extensive market research of drive-in theaters across the country in similar income areas, we determined that tickets will be approximately $8 per person. And based on our survey data, people said they were willing to spend around $20 on concessions. The lot at the Sabine School has the capacity for 50 cars, and we're planning on doing 12 screenings per month for 9 months out of the year, excluding the coldest winter months. This brings us to nearly $200,000 in revenue just in our first year. Our costs include variable costs like salaries, concessions, and movie licensing fees, which we determine through our market research and comparisons to industry benchmarks. As you can see here, we have increasing revenues, costs, and profits in our first 3 years. The reason behind this is that we're assuming that in our first year, we have 75% occupancy at our theater. And as the years go on and our marketing strategies are deployed, we will tap into the larger Sabine Parish area, which is home to 25,000 people. This brings us to $128,000 in cumulative profits in our first years, which is more than the $117,000 that we need for our technical and operational startup costs. As the business grows, we plan to expand in the following ways. First, number of screenings per day. Second, days of operation. And third, services provided. This includes using the space as a rental venue during the day for swap meets and farmers markets, both popular forms of community engagement in the area. This brings us to our ask, $117,000. This includes our technical setup costs like screen infrastructure and our projector and screen, as well as our launch expenses for the first 4.5 months, which is the first half of our operating year. This includes concessions, movie fees, employee salaries, and variable costs. We believe that this is a low risk and high reward investment, given the lack of competition, the incredible enthusiasm from our target market, and the large scale impact this will have on the town of Manny. This venture is about more than just a drive-in theater. It's about reclaiming history and transforming a place of pain into one of inclusion. It's about healing an open wound and creating community and economic opportunity in the process.
This drive-in theater, located in the community of Manny, Louisiana, will revive, restore, and repurpose the campus of Sabine High School.
Thank you for listening to our presentation and considering supporting this incredible cause.
Thank you and congratulations. Archie, I'll turn it over to you for the
And I
judges.
open the floor to judges. If you'll bring your cameras online, I'll call on you if you have any statements that you'd like. Corey, I saw you first.
Yeah, I'll just hop in and say, first and foremost, thank you for such an inspiring presentation. I really like the equity focus and the overarching focus on community revitalization. I thought that it was a social enterprise at its core because of the fact that there's a clear community impact model with a clear business idea. And I really enjoyed learning about the history of Sabine High School and also the town of Manny. So I felt like there was a bit of a history lesson in that. The market analysis was strong. The thing that I'm curious about, only given that we're having a little bit of a writer's what do you call it, protest here that's happening, and there's a freeze. What will happen in the event that we have a slowdown in movie production? Will be the only thing in regards to sort of mitigating risk. This model in terms of the market itself and the fact that there is no real competitor in the area, I felt was strong. So just want to just flag that for consideration.
Excellent. Victoria?
I thought it was beautiful. As Corey said, it's a social enterprise at its core, just the business model. And there's so much promise for other products, so to say, that you can add. Like you're starting with the movies, but the idea of this is about community and bringing people together and how you can add on to the space, especially in a post-COVID world where we are missing that connectivity. And then bringing in the historical piece. I just think that there's so much room to grow, and I really enjoyed it. So congratulations. Thank you for sharing.
Claudia?
Oh, thank you again for a wonderful presentation. The innovation with all of you tonight is just off the charts. So appreciate you coming with such an impactful presentation. The only thing that I was struggling with or thought that might help your pitch is I didn't see anything in your presentation that talked about what it was going to cost to do the revitalization or renovation of the property itself. It's been a school and you've got a theater, and I was curious, how do you plan to do more revitalization on the actual campus? And what does that look like? And is it phased? And what's the total cost so that you can realize the culmination of the dream at some point in the future? I think that would add a lot to your presentation, but I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Ed?
Yeah, I had that same thought, Claudia, that you just mentioned. I 5 times during your presentation, I had a question, and 5 times you answered it as soon as I wrote it down. So well done. You anticipated, at least for me anyway, what most of my questions might be. The only issue I have, we all know drive-in theaters have kind of gone by the wayside, at least where I live and probably where everybody does. I like the analytics that you gave. The closest one is 80 miles away, and no indoor theater within a couple hundred miles, which also makes me a little concerned that if there isn't one, why isn't there one? Have others done deeper research and analytics to find that it just wouldn't support it long term? I know that 10% of your city population responded to this survey, and that's great. Those are really good numbers. But long term, is it something that would eventually, the novelty, everybody likes the novelty of it right now, but would they sustain it long term? But I would. I love taking my kids to a drive-in theater when I can find them. But well done, great presentation, great job anticipating, most of the questions or concerns that we might have had. So yeah, I echo the other comments about all of the presentations tonight. But really, really well done.
Excellent. Arceli?
Yes, I agree. Great presentation. I really enjoyed, the part where you discussed the growth strategy and how you plan on expanding, on services at the site. I think that's very, very important. 2 things, as Ed mentioned, when you discussed the startup costs, you highlighted, technical and operational. And I thought the same thing. I thought, well, if the nearest theater isn't, is 80, 100 miles out. Why is that? And how have they broken down or identified these operational costs? Is it because, what does that encompass? What does that cover? And why is it that there hasn't been a drive-in in this site? Is it because they've attempted that, it hasn't been sustainable, it hasn't panned out, and why has that been the case? And then as far as the cost that you referenced, the $117K figure, what cities or what sites or what regions did you compare that to? And are those sites or areas identical, similar to the city that we're looking at right now? But aside from that, great job. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Judges, mark your ballots, and we're going to have you go back to the Zoom that you were at earlier, and we will confer. Andy?
So Archie, thank you. Thank you to the judges, and thank you to our 3 finalist teams for wonderful presentations. We're going to switch now to the second part of our program, where we had 10 organizations in the Academy. We had a first round of competition. The 3 finalists were the ones chosen out of the first round. You're now going to hear from the 7 other organizations who will give a 3-minute fast pitch. I will do the timing. And we'll try to keep this moving along because we're a little behind schedule. So we'll start off with the Ashland Community Development Corporation. With that fast pitch, presenter, please, once you start, I'll start the timing.
Great, thank you very much. I'm John Mangana of the Ashland Community Development Corporation, an emerging nonprofit organization located on the east side of Baltimore, Maryland, that is building Baltimore better through a series of community outreach initiatives. Our mission is to provide quality community services to end socioeconomic disadvantage to underserved Baltimoreans, focusing for this discussion on community health and wellness as it pertains to a pressing community need, food insecurity, as evidenced from the many informal anecdotal conversations I have had with residents to a host of community meetings we have attended. Our goal is to advocate for those facing food insecurity by providing equitable access for food via an innovative food hub called Virgil Foods. We seek to provide relief to members of the East Baltimore community that are typically most vulnerable to food insecurity, or approximately 90,443 people whose median income is at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. Many of this population are seniors, children, those living with disabilities, and people with chronic conditions. Baltimore City has declared East Baltimore as a healthy food priority area because, according to the Baltimore City Food Environment Report, the healthy food availability index for this area is at the lowest tier on their scale, which is 0 to 9.5%. Over 30% of households do not have access to a personal vehicle, and the distance to a supermarket is greater than a quarter of a mile, thereby limiting access for the elderly and disabled. After 20 years of solicitation and the loss of market after market, no one has an answer. We still find that supermarket chains are reluctant to open or remain in this area beyond the 3 stores serving a population of almost 400,000 people because of the available space to build, limits to delivery access based on restrictions of available sites, and perceived financial risks. So if the mountain won't come to Mohammed, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to cooking up our own mountain. With support from Kelly Swoop, news anchor at local TV channel WMAR, professional culinary associations, and minority farmers collectives, Virgil Foods, using a tiered approach, will market a cookbook and the 933 brands of 3 products to educate consumers about healthy eating and nutrition, thereby generating funds to finance future efforts in culinary workforce development designed to feed seniors, enhancing our community garden output via aquaponics, and a food hub and a mobile market to provide food access to our residents. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.
Thank you very much. Let me remind the audience members that we're going to ask you at the end of these presentations to vote for your favorite of these fast pitch presentations, and the winner of the audience favorite award will be awarded $5,000. So pay attention, write down the names of those that are your favorites as you hear them, and you'll have an opportunity to vote after the 7th presentation has been made. So our second of the fast pitches is from Community Partners International in Myanmar. Please go ahead and start when you're ready.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Iris, and I am the student leader representing my team, the Nitha Jamar Clinic Group, supported by CPI Myanmar, located in the capital city of Myanmar, Yangon. On April 19th, 2023, just over a month ago, a 65-year-old Burmese lady was sent to our clinic due to severe abdominal pain in the middle of the night. After a quick blood test, we found out that she was already suffering from the last stage of hepatitis C, also known as liver cancer. Unfortunately, it was already too late to treat her, and she passed away the next morning. She's not alone. Every year, there are more than 5 million patients in Myanmar suffering from hepatitis, but most of them do not even know that they have it until it is too late. In Myanmar, 98% of the population do not have medical insurance, and patients face ridiculous transportation costs and corruption and bureaucracy in the public healthcare system. But I have a good news. After 5 months of development, we have a solution for it: a seamless 3-step telehealth journey for every patient in Myanmar. First step, patients can have a teleconsultation with our doctors to get a prescription, on Myanmar's version of iMessage called Viber, a free-to-use telecommunication app installed on almost every single smartphone in the country. After the consultation, patients can order the medicine on Viber directly, and we will gather the orders to send to their local community centers so that they don't have to travel themselves. Lastly, patients can also subscribe to a value package for their chronic disease treatment at a much more discounted price to save cost. With our approach, patients can not only access high-quality healthcare services, but also save up to 10,000 Myanmar Baht per medical visit, which is roughly the price of 3 meals in Myanmar. Based on our current operation projections, we will be able to treat up to 26,000 patients in only the first 3 years of operation. But before we do that, we need your support. Today, we are seeking for $5,000 to kickstart our venture. We'll use the fund to renovate our consultation rooms, install solar panels to ensure stable electricity supply, hire more doctors, and procure more hepatitis test kits for our patients. Our clinic name, Nithit Jamar, is translated directly to English as New Day Healthy Clinic, because we believe together with your help and support, we can create a healthier and longer future for all families in Myanmar. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Very nice. Our third presenter, Fast Pitch, will be the Smart Ride. So when your presenter is ready, say a few words, and when you start talking, I'll start the timing.
Got it. Thank you. Have you ever ridden 20 miles on a bike? How about 100? What about 165 miles in just 2 days? Sounds like a feat, doesn't it? But we're not just tackling miles, we're tackling HIV/AIDS. We are the Smart Ride, a vibrant community of thousands of cyclists who have pedaled their way from Miami to Key West for the last 20 years, raising a staggering $15 million along the way. And here's the real kicker. Every single dollar, that's 100% of every dollar fundraised, has gone directly to the benefiting agencies of the Smart Ride, who provide direct services to clients. We're talking about vital supplies, treatments, life-saving medicines, housing, and other living expenses for those affected. In this process, we've had the privilege of impacting the lives of countless patients and their families. We're not just riding bikes, we're riding because we care. And every pedal brings us closer to a world free from HIV/AIDS. Our mission is to empower those affected by HIV/AIDS and to enlighten the younger generation who often find themselves in the dark about this disease. It's a sobering reality that 60% of young people with HIV are unaware of their condition, and many are under the dangerous illusion that just popping a pill makes HIV disappear. But the truth is, this is still a global crisis. In fact, there were approximately 1.6 million new HIV infections among adults in 2020 alone. And it's not just the younger generation that's affected. HIV/AIDS is not discriminated by age. We're here to shatter these myths, to educate, and to ensure that everyone, regardless of their age or background, understands the reality of HIV/AIDS. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment. We're not just a nonprofit, we're a movement. We're not just raising funds, we're raising the bar on awareness. And we're doing it all while fostering a sense of community and camaraderie that's truly unique. And now we're amplifying our commitment with the introduction of our inaugural Smart Ride Gala. This event is a party, a celebration, and a testament to living life with dignity. It's also a key initiative that enables us to maintain our 100% fundraising promise by generating additional funds to support those of us who are quite literally peddling our assets off. It's an opportunity to raise more, give more, and do more. We're pedaling with a purpose, and no bump in the road and no hill too steep can deter us from our relentless pursuit against HIV/AIDS. That is the spirit of the Smart Ride. If the thought of our bike ride gets your gears turning, we'd love to have you join us. But if the idea of pedaling 165 miles is not for you, don't sweat it. Maybe $165 is more your speed. Your wallet can do the pedaling for you. And if that is still too much, don't worry. Just cast your vote for us tonight. That way, we can keep helping those living with HIV/AIDS to live with dignity. So join us, because together we can make a difference. Together, we can tackle HIV/AIDS. And remember, in this ride, every dollar counts and every dollar gets us closer to the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone's on time. Jamaica Capital Building Fund, our fourth presenter.
Am I good to start?
Go ahead.
Great, thank you. We've all seen photos of children in impoverished areas standing around a rundown building that serves as their school and is likely the only school for miles. Perhaps you've even seen it in person. This is the reality for the children of Quickstep, Jamaica, a rural town with the only primary school operated out of a single-room Anglican church with no running water, built in the 1800s. Hello, my name is Brylan Graves, and I am with Jamaica Capital Building Fund, which was founded in honor of founder Anat's late son to rebuild and equip Quickstep Primary. JCBF's mission goes beyond Quickstep toward the larger goal of ensuring that children all across the globe are given the proper tools and environment necessary to succeed. We are actively working to reach this goal through a volunteerism trip, where dedicated volunteers will directly assist in rebuilding the school. These volunteerism trips will rely on the generosity of high school and college students, business professionals, and other socially minded travelers that already contribute toward this $3 billion industry. They are able to give back and engage in a local community while exploring the tropical paradise that is the Jamaican island. There are plenty of other volunteerism trips out there, but Jamaica Capital Building Fund will be able to uniquely deliver due to our intimate knowledge and connection to the small town of Quickstep, giving volunteers the opportunity to see their impact with the local community members in action. This venture will be self-sustaining within the first year, with volunteer fees covering all necessary costs for construction and contributing toward future projects. This lends itself to immediate scalability toward other projects at Quickstep, like tutoring the students or building projects in similar nearby towns. Donations from our founder, Anat, and our board member, Roy, who attended the school as a child, have already gone toward redoing the bathrooms and providing the children with laptops. But there is so much more that needs to be done. This is why we are asking you to prioritize the education and success of children who are not given an equal opportunity to achieve by donating $5,000 toward the fees required to negotiate a legal contract with a reputable partner to arrange for the volunteerism trips and to eventually hire an executive director for the program. Any amount of time, money, and expertise will help to revolutionize these children's lives. So I urge you to please join us in making a difference in Quickstep and beyond by voting for us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Our fifth presenter is P.S. I Love You. So when you're ready, go ahead and start.
Am I there?
Now you are. Yes.
Love and happiness. What powerful emotions to feel, what powerful emotions to share. And wouldn't you agree that the world just isn't feeling enough of them? What if powerful emotions like love, happiness, even kindness and hope are emotions, the foundation of humanity? What if they actually really need to be taught? Well, science actually says they need to be taught. Science actually says it's a fact that we're only born with 6 emotional responses: fear, anger, disgust, sadness, surprise, and joy. Any other emotion you ever felt in your lifetime needs to be taught. So what about the emotions that make up a healthy child? Empathy, gratefulness, self-acceptance, confidence, forgiveness. If teachers are overworked and parents are trying to keep up with the Joneses, who are teaching the vital life skills that's the essence of decent, kind, healthy human beings? Well, we're doing that. My name's Patricia Jones. I'm the founder of P.S. I Love You Foundation, and we've been teaching social, emotional, and mental health skills for 23 years before there was a space for it in education. We do this by training volunteers like me and you to teach our 12-week curriculums, and then we teach it during class time on site in middle school, 6th to 8th grade. We reach about 600 to 1,000 kids a year, and we know this is not enough. We're teaching the vital life skills that help you manage the many stresses, challenges, choices, emotions of adolescence and beyond. And we need to reach more kids. We need to reach millions of kids, and we need more instructors to do that. We can't rely on volunteers anymore. They're coming and going, because to build this urgency after COVID, social, emotional, mental health skills, as we all know, we've all probably been affected. The National Institute of Health has actually declared the world is in a mental health crisis. And we know this because of the stats, the facts. Suicide alone is up 165%. We can't deny this, right? Loneliness is up 79%. Lifelong mental health, you guys, starts at the age of 10, and chronic long-term anxiety starts at the age of 13. And that lasts for a very, very long time, if not lifetime. And your generous support today can help us create what we feel is a solution called the Collegiate Care Social Emotional Learning Program, where we will partner with colleges and universities to teach our curriculum. And we want to partner in the field of psychology, education, and social workers. And together, helping them get their hours in the field, they can also teach and train more kids as mentors. These kids would love to see them. We can start slowly and build great partnerships to reach more kids, not just in local colleges, but across the nation. It's a great pair of the hearts and minds, and together we need your help. Please join us to create a way to raise the next generation of happy, healthy children. Thank you.
Thank you. Our sixth presenter is Community Educating Others. When you are ready, please kick off and I'll start the timing.
I would like for all of us to take a moment and detach yourself from your own upbringing and imagine what it would be like to grow up in a rural town. For some of you, it might feel like a little house in the prairie moment. The reality of this scenario is a life with limited higher education, fewer job prospects, and a lack of accessible healthcare without anyone in the community to support you. These are the issues that the Community Educating Others wants to tackle from the ground up. Running out of family-owned community center in rural Halifax County, Virginia, CEO offers impactful educational and social programs like etiquette classes for the youth and computer classes for the elderly that promote a sense of belonging and empowerment for the community. To support CEO's social impact, we're launching a bi-weekly outdoor farmer markets with an indoor cafe that runs from March until October. Unlike other markets in the area, we'll operate an indoor holiday market and cafe during the winter months to maximize profit year-round. Local farmers and vendors can rent stalls at a fixed price, and businesses can also purchase corporate sponsorships, while customers purchase concessions and view live entertainment from our cafe. What makes this such a unique opportunity for investors is that we have minimal startup costs, thanks to our ownership of the community center's infrastructure. We also have requisite business knowledge thanks to our co-founder, Brad Miller, who is a lifelong farmer himself and running a catering business that already feeds 150 plus seniors through CEO every month. But we want to do more than support our seniors. We also want to expand to the younger population of Halifax County who need our help. The profits of this venture will support additional educational and social programs catered towards all ages in South Boston, including coding classes, culinary classes, and exercise classes to enrich the lives within the community and empower them to achieve upward mobility in a rural area. The venture itself creates opportunities for people to meet local farmers and for local farmers to network and meet new clients, enriching both parties' experience and involvement in the community. Furthermore, the farmers market provides members of the community with a recurring event to look forward to, whether they're going by themselves to meet new people or going with family members to have a fun time. In order to accomplish these goals and impact the lives of hundreds of rural residents in Halifax County, we have a small and clear request for you. We're seeking financial support to cover all first-year expenses, pay our employees a competitive wage, and improve our kitchen for long-term growth. We believe that the impact of this investment from your end has the potential to direct the community towards a more comfortable and promising future. In doing so, we can close the socioeconomic gap that Halifax County residents face. Thank you for listening.
And thank you. And our seventh presentation will be from WorkUp. When you are ready, please go ahead.
Making the American dream come true. That is our organization's drive. A few years ago, Manny Leon, CEO of Maleo, saw a problem each and every single one of us have encountered. He realized that not only is it hard for students to acquire jobs out of graduation, he also realized that they don't even know where to begin. Even after acquiring reputable degrees from top universities, graduates are unable to secure high-paying jobs. It's even sadder to admit, but data shows that about 53% of college graduates are unemployed or working a job with a degree requirement. That's over half. And that is why Maleo is here to close this enormous gap. Maleo is a nonprofit organization that can help guarantee college students a job placement right out of graduation at a 100% success rate. We want everyone to have the job they love and deserve. We have a group of over 100 UCLA alumni who are willing and able to offer one-on-one assistance and guide students throughout their entire application process, from resume creation all the way to interview preparation. They will be with you every step of the way until a job is secured. Currently, we are serving undergraduate and graduate college students and hope to extend the service to anyone looking for a job in the future. All we ask is a small percentage of the yearly salary, about 4.9%, which is divided into 24 monthly payments. Mere pennies on the dollar once we help you reach your dream job. Currently, the median annual earnings for a business economics major at UCLA is $57,000, 2 years post-graduation. However, Maleo's median salary for the same major has been $84,000 upon graduation. The services Maleo offers are second to none. As an extension of Maleo, there's an application called WorkUp. WorkUp is an iOS application that helps university students and graduates acquire internships and jobs with a click of a button. Our application integration is unlike any other, in which all you need to have is a device that fits right in your pocket, your phone. Simply upload your resume into our app, and it is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Our app is easy to use and has a familiar layout many already know how to use. We also have video capabilities to help bring resumes come to life. Gone are the days where recruiters are only connecting with you through your resumes, but rather we have created the possibility of bringing your personality directly to the recruiters, increasing your chances of getting further with your job applications straight for an interview. Maleo, along with WorkUp, is here to help each and every single person make their American dream come true. We especially want every single graduate student to be placed in the job that they strive for and especially have paid tuition for. We have been backed by numerous tech companies such as Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA, just to name a few. And with our growth, we strive to back 15% of our revenue for other numerous nonprofits to help support other important issues and causes throughout the world. Thank you for your time, and we hope you all can help us grow our mission and reach the masses so we can aim to assist everyone in making their American dream come true.
So those were our 7 fast pitches. I think now for the audience members, I have to say the panelists, we don't get to vote, but the audience members do get to vote. So you should see a poll that allows you to choose which one of these 7 organizations. You get to see a poll that allows you to vote. And while you're voting, I'm going to turn the floor over to Mia Saleshi, who is going to introduce our keynote speaker for this final phase of our program. So Mia?
Thank you, Andy. My name is Mia Saleshi, and I'm the Director of Alumni Career Engagement at the UCLA Alumni Affairs Office. I'm also an alumna, class of 2011 in Communication Studies. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Russ Altenberg. I first met Russ in 2010 when he was a student at UCLA Anderson School of Management. At the time, I worked at the Career Center there. Even then, his servant leadership prowess and impact was impressive. He was president of his section and president of the Net Impact Association, leading all impact efforts at Anderson before there was a center there. In 2012, his graduating year, he was one of only 2 recipients of the coveted John Wooden Global Leadership Award. Russ left a career in Wall Street at JP Morgan Chase, risking it all to pursue a career with purpose. He started 3 nonprofits, one of which built 15 schools in 11 countries and still operates today. Another nonprofit he founded, Reframe Labs, is an incubator and innovation consultancy that is shaping the future of education. Reframe Labs has supported 14 new organizations and programs and further developed 64 leaders, 91% of which are of color and/or women. In preparing for this introduction, it dawned on me, Russ has so many titles: founder, social entrepreneur, CEO, and leader in education, nonprofits, and philanthropy. I met with Russ to ask how he would like to be addressed, and his response is indicative, in my opinion, of who he is and why he has been so successful that he is our keynote. He said he's not concerned with his title, rather his values, faith, and service leadership. With that, I introduce to you our keynote speaker, Russ Altenberg. Thank you.
Thanks, Mia. First, shout out to all the Bruins involved in this program. I love that you're using your talents to make the world a better place. There is a good chance that this experience will have positive ripple effects on your life that are hard to imagine right now. My name is Russ Altenberg. I'm both humbled and honored to share a few thoughts on a topic that is very close to my heart, the incredible journey of social impact work. To begin, I'd like to share 4 things that have really shaped my worldview. I come from 2 farming families, one in Wisconsin, one in South Korea. As a kid in a military family, I moved around quite a bit in my youth. Certainly allowed me to gain a diverse perspective at a pretty young age. I'm the first in my family to graduate college. I'm also the proud parent of 2 multiracial daughters that you see here. These experiences have hugely shaped my social impact journey over the past 18 years. This journey, as Mia shared, has included launching 3 nonprofits, working in philanthropy, and supporting many leaders striving to create positive change. When I graduated college, I landed my first job at JP Morgan. Excited to learn from some of the brightest minds, but honestly, this was also a period of some intense personal reflection on how I wanted to dedicate my time and energy in the world. I was always drawn to education. It certainly opened doors for me. My dad was also a special ed teacher when he transitioned out of the military. So I gained a special appreciation from afar for the challenges and opportunities for education as well. And I also recognized that education, or really a lack thereof, that lies at the root of many of our society's problems. And so it was these motivations that led me to co-found Global Playground in 2005. And that really marked the beginning of my social impact career. So I went from New York City to Uganda. Some friends and I had raised 32 grand for our very first project. And that was to help build a school in a rural community that really needed and wanted one. It was about an hour west of Kampala. And this is what their old school looked like. We were thrilled with this community and really had a chance to befriend some amazing people like Dembe here. Together, we co-designed and built this school. Here are some of the kids that were going to attend the school. And my buddy Abo. Here's a school about halfway through construction, and this is the final product. Beyond constructing the building, we were really interested in using the school as a place to foster cross-cultural dialogue. We built a school in the middle of 2 tribes that had a lot of conflict over the years, and we were seeking to foster connection and teach about the value of differences. We were also interested in facilitating cross-cultural dialogue internationally. Here we were sharing videos from students in New York, and these Ugandan kids in turn created and sent videos back to that class in New York. And it was such a cool digital pen pals experience that became a conduit for teaching all sorts of cool things with these kids. Our second school was built in northern Thailand. Our third was built in Cambodia. Here's some of the kids there. And our fourth was built in El Progreso, Honduras. Global Playground still operates today, and to date has built 15 schools in 12 countries. And of course, once you're immersed in a community, you see the full gamut of local challenges, from healthcare to civil rights to employment to corruption, among other things. In response, all sorts of different revenue generating ventures got launched as we sought to find solutions to some of these problems. So for example, we helped establish a sustainable revenue stream by establishing a college service trip model. It was sort of like volunteerism. And then we expanded that to 35 universities. So basically, college students would spend their spring break or winter break, or even during the summer, they'd come out to Honduras for a week. They would partner and work alongside community members in building homes, schools, teaching in our schools, and it was a really beautiful experience. We also partnered with the community to create a micro lending program. Many of those who received these micro loans, they applied the money to make these handbags. They would go to a landfill. They would search for old potato chip bags or soda bottle wrappers, and then they would weave them together to make bags of all sorts of colors and sizes, as you see here. And then me and some other teammates, we would take these bags and we would sell them in college bookstores across the country. And that generated significant incomes for these families. When I came back to the US, I basically doubled down on education. I had all sorts of ideas on kind of ways to enhance the student learning experience. And so it was during business school right here at UCLA where I had the chance to partner with Santa Barbara Unified on a blended learning model that helped third graders improve their math skills through the use of digital tutors. And we were using them every single day during the school day. I had the chance to create a 4-credit elective at the high school down the street. And we would teach those high schoolers about all the basic third grade math concepts that were going to be taught. And then every single day, those high schoolers would connect with their third graders to help. And it was really an awesome experience. Then the high schoolers would summarize how the kid did that day in one sentence, and they'd mark, green light, yellow light, red light, and all that feedback rolled up to a 1-page teacher dashboard so the teacher could make adjustments for that kid the next day. Here's a look at that interface. It was basically like a Skype on steroids type thing with some digital whiteboard capabilities. I eventually joined the Eli and Edith Broad Foundation to lead grant making related to next gen learning and innovative school models nationally. And then in 2015, I left to start Reframe Labs. This is the nonprofit that I run now. And this is an incubator and an innovation consultancy for the education sector. Basically, we work with education entrepreneurs. They have big, bold ideas, and they want support in going from idea to something real. And so to date, we've helped 64 leaders start 14 new organizations. 91% of those leaders are leaders of color or women. And at the forefront of a lot of these conversations that I have at Reframe are these big questions. What future are we preparing our students for? What skills will students need to really be prepared for this future? And what's clear from my work is that our education system just leaves so many behind. And for the most part, doesn't really do a great job of preparing students for a future that really is going to be shaped by these trends. So I've done a lot of thinking on this topic. One book worth checking out is Robot Proof by Robert Ayoun. He's the president of Northeastern University. And in the book, he calls for a revamp of our education system to really focus more on these 5 areas. And as students entering the workforce, these are the skills you need to be thinking about and building. Every year, the World Economic Forum, they publish a Future of Jobs report. And this is from the latest one. Basically, they survey over 800 companies that employ over 11 million people across 45 countries. And collectively, these are the kind of skills that they say they're looking for. So whether your journey is one of social impact or not, these are the skills you need to be building and shaping. So good beat here. This is the 3rd nonprofit I co-founded. I'll be quick here. Basically, the basic theory of change is that parents, amplified by social media, can produce the kind of public pressure necessary to foster a paradigm shift in our public education system. So we focus on culture shift organizing, and basically we're trying to harness what we've learned from other social movements like Me Too and Black Lives Matter. Okay, Russ, good story. How does all this help me? All right. As you embark on the first major chapter of your career, you got to read Clay Christensen's book, How Will You Measure Your Life? It's a must read. Run to that bookstore. Christensen was a renowned business school professor at Harvard. He delved into this idea that true success and fulfillment extend beyond professional achievements, beyond financial wealth. And he basically says your life should be about the impact you make and the relationships that you nurture. So this book provides a roadmap of sorts for leading a purposeful and principled life. So consider your personal value system and consider how your actions align with it. How do you spend your time every day? You want to find that sweet spot where your passions, your talents, and the world's needs intersect. In Japanese, this is referred to as ikigai, and it's a really valuable tool for those seeking direction in their lives. It really helps to identify the things that align with a fulfilling career. Okay, so how might my journey help you? I put together sort of 5 personal lessons and tips for anyone here considering social impact work as a career. Immerse yourself in the problem you aim to solve. So this may involve living in a different neighborhood or even a different country. For me, living and working internationally was a profound gift, albeit challenging. In Honduras alone, I encountered a presidential coup, a swine flu outbreak, a devastating 7.3 earthquake, and some intense personal experiences that just highlighted the range of international development challenges. And these experiences were draining over time, but they also provided invaluable direct experiences. It provided professional credibility, and obviously lifelong memories and some amazing relationships too. The path to social impact work is not always linear. You do not have to immediately dive into the nonprofit world, where you're probably going to find yourself at the bottom of the org chart. A better path may be diversifying your worldview or developing skills in various, different sectors, whether that's finance or consulting or marketing. And that may open doors to more influential roles for you down the road. A lot of social impact work is about incremental change that helps, but doesn't represent a categorical leap forward in solving a big problem. I really encourage you to seek what I call asymmetric impact opportunities, where the upside in terms of impact significantly outweigh the potential downside in terms of your time and resources that you spend. In other words, work on big bets. For example, there are huge upside opportunities in renewable energy, education technology, healthcare innovation, and many things like that. Take risks and course correct along the way. If you pursue something and it works out, great. And if it doesn't, it's going to be an adventure, and you'll have gained some major life lessons that will help you succeed at your next big thing. Social venture work's really challenging, but life is often about choosing your hard. Through it all, don't lose sight of your personal value system and how you measure your life. Pursuing social impact dreams may entail foregoing some other lucrative pathways, or maybe your family may not fully support your choices, especially if you're a first-gen college attendee. Honor their sacrifices while staying true to your personal values. Lastly, you're entering the workforce during an incredibly exciting time. I mean, you're probably sick of hearing about AI already, but at the same time, we probably can't even comprehend what it will be capable of. AI is revolutionizing the world. It's enabling new approaches to addressing major global problems. Do not get left behind. Spend a lot of time familiarizing yourself with AI and all these new tools coming out. AI extends far beyond robots and sci-fi. It empowers us to tackle societal challenges through data-driven innovation. Just in education alone, AI unlocks all sorts of possibilities for personalization, for connection, for immersion, and amplifying the impact of our very best teachers. But at the same time, never forget the human touch. Never forget the empathetic connection that drives social impact work. Behind every algorithm and behind every line of code, there are lives that are impacted, and it's our responsibility to listen. It's our responsibility to amplify the voices of the underrepresented, and to create opportunities for those who have been left behind. So, as you venture beyond UCLA, remember that your path toward social impact work is a tapestry woven from diverse experiences and skills. Build bridges of understanding, because it is in the spaces where different worlds intersect that the most transformative ideas are born. Your journey won't always be easy. Social entrepreneurs take extraordinary risk, and innovation requires resilience in the face of adversity. For me, the rewards have far outweighed the challenges, and it probably would for you too. The lives you touch, the communities you uplift, the legacy you leave behind, those will be the true measures of your success. Humanity faces significant problems, and many approaches attempted over the decades have fallen short. As you know, many governments and companies have become calcified. They've become increasingly disconnected from the experiences of everyday people. It's now up to you, your courage, to drive us toward progress. Each one of you is blessed with amazing gifts, whether you realize it or not. You are attending the #1 public school in the world. You are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the ones who possess the audacity, the ideas, the energy required to bring about change. The world is relying on your bravery to propel us forward. Now's the time. Now go out and do something extraordinary. Thank you.
Russ,
Awesome.
Thank you very much for that. I found it very inspiring, and I graduated quite some time ago. We're now at perhaps the most exciting part of the evening, and that is where we announce the winners of our competition. I'll start with the audience favorite. It was a close competition, but CPI International Myanmar came out on top as our audience favorite and will receive $5,000. So congratulations to them. And now I'll turn it over. Archie, I think you got to unmute.
I'm unmuted, but I was checking to make sure that drag wasn't me. Whoop. So I want to thank Russ. That was moving and inspiring. And I wish I had gotten to see more of it, but I will clearly see it in the recording. I want to thank our judges. They were extraordinary. And I think that all of our nonprofits were winners. I think all of our students were winners. And for myself, I know that I got to be a winner by participating and being in this program with all of you. The judges talked about it at great length, and here is how it played out. Civil Air Patrol. If you want to come up so you can be seen. You were awarded $5,000 and a lot of gratitude. Engineer Factory. You were awarded $10,000 and a world of appreciation. And Sabine High School. You were awarded $15,000 towards your goal. So to all the participants, all the students, congratulations. And thank you very, very much.
Thanks to everyone. And that concludes our program. Thank you all for attending and participating.
Congratulations, everyone. Extremely well done.